Like I was on a kick for a while, a bunch of chicken breasts and rice, and that was it. And it's like, God, I felt like shit a lot because I'm missing other things. There's so many things that
the worst thing you can do is a strict diet.
Been a little too nice to y'all. Now I gotta up price on y'all. Snake eyes on dice.
It's recording. I can see it's saying recording. I'm staring at it right now. I can't believe that fucking happened yesterday, dude.
Oh fuck.
I was so pissed. I was such a good convo, and I pride myself on the podcast being very like natural, not planned ahead. Like I don't get crazy and make a bunch of bullets and shit. Like it's like obviously if someone wants to do that, that's fine. But on my end of things, I try not to do like a pre-planned, bullshit. So anyway, we're back on. Thanks for coming back, Luke. So for everybody out there who's not in on the inside joke, Luke and I recorded this yesterday, and my stupid lack of tech savviness fucked up the recording, and it didn't record. So we just had a really good conversation between the two of us, and nobody will ever hear it ever again. So we're gonna try to we're gonna have another conversation now, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. It's definitely recording. I know it is. I can see it. So, anyway, thanks for coming back, Luke. I really appreciate it. For those that don't know, Luke Bernardi is the owner of Amped Nutrition. It's a brick and mortar. He's also got an e-commerce going on. The reason I wanted to bring Luke on is because he is a plethora of information when it comes to immunities and just overall staying healthy, taking the right supplements, not garbage, not putting shit in your body, but actually putting good quality. And plus he likes to eat steaks and lift weights, so that's always a good thing for me. Luke, welcome to the show.
What's up?
So we talked about vitamin D and the lack of vitamin D. I'm just going to kick it off. I read this article last night, and I'm glad we had the conversation yesterday about this. I read this article. I researched a little bit. I found an article from 2010 talking about vitamin D deficiency. And this is from a quote. It's from the International Journal of Health Sciences. This is by a Dr. Zahid Naeem. He's a professor at Qasem University. This is 2010. This was written. Vitamin D deficiency is a global health problem. With all of the medical advances of the century, vitamin D deficiency is still an epidemic. Over 1 billion people worldwide are vitamin D deficient or insufficient. Yet no international health organization or governmental body has declared a health emergency to warn the public about the urgent need of achieving sufficient vitamin D blood levels. That's fucking insane. 2010 this was written.
Yeah.
Talking about this being an epidemic, and still after all of this, nobody's talking about it. Well, some people are talking about it, and I just want to be, hopefully we're pushing this conversation. Hopefully this becomes more important to people. So what's some stuff we can do? What are your thoughts on all this?
Yeah, I've known about this for years and years and years, and personally supplemented with it. And it's one thing I recommend to all my clients to supplement with, because to those who don't know, we get vitamin D from the sun. They call it the sunshine vitamin. But the problem is they've found out through research like that we are not absorbing it through our skin anymore. We are not absorbing it from the sun. Now, whether that's from all the pollution and whatnot in the air, who knows? But we're not absorbing it. So we do need to supplement with it. Vitamin D is probably one of the most important vitamins you should be taking, or that your body needs. It's found in every cell in the body. Every cell has receptors for vitamin D in the body. Vitamin D, T3, and omega-3. Those three things, every cell in your body has receptors for. So they're kind of crucial. T3 being thyroid hormone, omega-3 being omega-3 from fish and whatever, right? But yeah, it's something we need to supplement with. It plays a major role in your immune system, bone density, hormonal health. It's actually one of the only vitamins that's a steroidal hormone. It's actually more of a hormone than it is a vitamin.
So I heard that. What does that mean, that it's more of a steroid vitamin?
like it plays a role in your steroid hormone production. So steroid hormones being testosterone, progesterone, all those different things. So we need it as men, as women, for natural hormone production, reproduction, everything like that. And vitamin D deficiency is one of the biggest things. People don't even realize this. In the winter, a lot of people get the winter blues or whatever.
Big time. Being from California, you know, I get that every single year, man.
Exactly. Well, the winter blues, really, it's not that it's cold out and you can't fucking go outside. It's that we're not outside absorbing the vitamin D, which plays a major role in our serotonin and in our mood, which people do not even realize. Vitamin D deficiency is associated with depression massively. And that's
Really?
it's crazy. People don't even know this. And if you supplement with vitamin D, when I started, it made the biggest difference in my life because I'm in a store 7 days a week, 365. I'm not really out in the sun that much. And when I started supplementing with it like crazy, I noticed, holy shit, I just feel way better. My sleep is better. My mood is better. I feel better. My hormones are definitely ramping up, right?
Definitely.
So it's something that you definitely will feel and that everyone should be taking. But the reason now it's more important than ever is because of this coronavirus. It plays a huge role in your immune system. So we need to be taking this, and they've actually shown now some studies on patients with coronavirus. Those who are severely vitamin D deficient or vitamin D deficient have 10 times worse of a case of coronavirus than those who are not.
Jeez.
So it's insane.
So yeah, I was reading, and it was like, you know, depression, bone density loss, just so many things, heart disease. It's tagged to many different sorts of cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And in 2010, there was over 1 billion people. That's like, I'm not quoting Austin Powers. 1 billion people. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. You know, what's funny is I have a lot of like customers who come into my store, and I'm like, you should really be taking vitamin D if you don't. And they're like, I work outside, I'm in the sun. I'm like, it doesn't fucking matter, because a lot of these studies have been done in countries where they have sun year round. It never goes under like 20 degrees, and they're still vitamin D deficient. So that just goes to show you that how important it is that this is one supplement you should probably always supplement with, because you're only really going to get it little bits if you eat like certain organ meats, fatty fish, or fortified foods, which a lot of us don't eat anymore. A lot of people avoid dairy, which they fortify with vitamin D, A, and shit like that. And there's certain fortified foods that we avoid now.
Oh, for sure. Like egg yolks. I was reading it's like there's vitamin D in egg yolks and whole milk. I'm like, ooh.
Everything that no one eats anymore, which they should be eating, right? Arnold used to slug back gallons of milk and eat a dozen eggs raw, right?
Well, that's Jay Cutler's fault. He's shamed everybody into eating egg whites only. Yeah, for sure. No, totally. I agree with you, and that's part of like a big reason why, you know, you and I've had this conversation before is, you know, within good reason, you know, expanding your diet, having a variety, not just kind of sticking to one solid, you know, source of protein. You know, like I was on a kick for a while, a bunch of chicken breasts and rice, and that was it. And it's like, God, I felt like shit a lot because I'm missing other things. There's so many things that
the worst thing you can do is a strict diet. I hate to, like, when it comes down to it, they've shown research that if you are flexible in your diet and like you eat some fucking cake or cupcakes or something every now and then, you're actually going to have a way more broad micronutrient profile, way more vitamins and minerals than someone who's eating, like, thinks they're eating healthy and just eating chicken and broccoli. Right. So you got to be flexible and add variety into your diet. But yeah, with this virus that's going on, it's really kind of turned everyone's lives upside down, right?
Oh, without a doubt. I know you and I have talked about this before. Being an entrepreneur in this time and era, and trying to figure out how to change or evolve your business to make a profit, to stay above, you know, I don't even think it's about making profit. I think it's just about keeping the doors open at this point.
Yeah, exactly. It's just keeping afloat. I mean, this pandemic, if you will, if we look at the good of it, is it has forced a lot of businesses to get with the times. And now you have a lot of brick and mortars that are now going online, and it's forcing them to stay afloat. And it is good because it is getting them with the younger generations who are used to that purchasing online, so they can start to have those different revenue streams, which is great. But there are some businesses that you can't really do that, and that are just going to take a huge hit. I mean, like I had mentioned to you, I was launching another business venture as of December. We never saw this coming. And as of April, because of everything, we had to cut our losses, and it sucked big time. But with what's going on, it's something that I had to do for myself personally, and just to secure my businesses and make sure that we'll survive through this, right?
Well, and yeah, I think, making that decision is a big reason why I respect you. That to be able to understand and analyze the situation and kind of remove emotions out of it and say, because that's the thing, is we get married to our business. We're always thinking about our business. We're always, day and night, we're constantly looking for ways to make it better, to make it more appealing, to attract people to it, employees both and clients. But we get so emotionally attached to this ideal that we don't know, in most cases, most business owners, small business owners, we don't know when to say, okay, this is something I need to kind of pause for now. And man, I commend you. That's a big deal. It's a difficult decision, but I think you and I both know definitely the right way to go.
Yeah. Like as entrepreneurs, we take risks, and we take big risks. That's part of being an entrepreneur. But all the risks that you take as a successful entrepreneur should be calculated ones. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people get into businesses and just take risks, but they don't actually take calculated risks. And here's one where I had to weigh the pros and the cons and calculate the numbers and analyze the situation. And and I had to make the decision that I did. And it's funny you said that, because we do get married to our businesses, and it's a lot of us are so passionate about it, we don't want to let it go. It's like you see on Dragon's Den, and I cringe sometimes, these people who have invested millions of dollars into a business and their whole life savings, their house, and then the dragons are like, your idea fucking sucks. Right? Stop now before you keep putting more money into it. And they're like, no. They're like, I'm putting money into this. And like, I just cringe at that, because these people basically lose their livelihood over something like that, right? So it's a really tough thing to do. Like what I was going to be launching is something I've been passionate about, and it's complementary to my existing business, and it's probably the one thing like I've dreamt about my whole life, and then I was like, fuck. But you know what I mean? It's a learning curve, and that's the thing. The experience taught me a lot. So going forward, I know what to do, what not to do. And now with this pandemic going forward, I think it's going to change the world of business forever. It's going to change the economy forever. It's going to change society forever, in a way that we have to adapt as business owners now. Because I think the whole cleanliness thing, sanitation thing, I mean, you got people in government now who don't want you to ever shake hands again. Like, fuck that. I mean,
it's so awkward. I meet people all the time, and it's so fucking awkward.
It's one of the simplest gestures of, what's funny? I've heard this from numerous wise men who have said, you can tell someone's personality by their handshake.
Yeah.
Right away. If someone has a firm, confident handshake, they're looking you in the eye like, this guy means fucking business.
Yeah.
And if they have a soft kind of like look at their feet, they're not a confident person. They're not, you know what I mean?
Yep.
There's that one thing. So you get rid of that. What are we going to do? Just fucking stare into each other's eyes all day?
Well, it goes back. Handshakes are thousands of years old.
Yeah. That's
like we've been
on.
That's a part of human nature it's a habitual thing. Like we've had this for thousands of years, and now all of a sudden it's like making you not be able to smell, or it's just like one of the things that we all have done for so long. It's super awkward.
No, it's crazy.
Yeah, so that's huge, and I agree with you too. Like as far as you know, a lot of these guys that come out and they dump a bunch of money and they're taking huge risks. You know, I noticed something over the past, I'd say, year or so, and people who are driven by the money or what's in it for them kind of situation, they tend not to make those decisions like you did, and they tend to be like, no, I need money, I need money, I need money. And if you're always looking for money and that's the reason for your drive or whatever, I think that the tendency is going to be failure. When you're passionate, when you have that passion behind what you're doing, and clearly you do, you know, you've researched constantly. Man, how many stores you go into, vitamin stores, supplement stores, brick and mortar places where you can buy this stuff, and you walk in and the person working behind the counter has no fucking clue on what they're doing. Like that it just, so that just tells you, you know, how much passion you've got for this. And I think that's the reason for the success. That's the reason for the good decision. That's how you end up making good decisions, and you're smart with it. It goes back down to the passion. Why are you in this business? If it's for a good reason, then I think your decisions will be solid.
Yeah, I agree.
So immunodeficiency. Yeah, I mean, there's so many, you know, you keep going in that article and it talks about obesity, diabetes, hypertension, depression, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, osteoporosis. I mean, the list goes on and on, for good reasons to take vitamin D. It's fucking vitamin D. I don't know a store that doesn't have a bottle of. Now the quality you get is going to be, obviously you're going to want to go and talk to someone like Luke, because Luke, how much can you overdose on vitamin D? Is that possible?
You can, but it's really hard. Like the Health Canada recommendations, the RDI of vitamin D is very low. It's like 2 IUs, which is 2,000 units. I personally will take 5,000 units a day, and it should be more based off body weight too. But I think women, generally speaking, should take around 3,000 units. Men anywhere from 4,000 to 5,000 units. But if you're deficient, this is the crazy thing. There was a study in Germany. I did some courses with the world-renowned Olympic strength and conditioning coach and nutritionist Charles Poliquin. He passed away a couple of years ago now, but he had said and showed us the research where in Germany they had to give people who were vitamin D deficient something like 20,000 units for, I think it was like 6 weeks before they even reached normal levels.
Wow.
So it was insane, because you need to get your cellular levels like topped up, and apparently that's how long it could take for some people. And it was crazy. And he actually had shown us some research that they did in Germany, I believe it was as well, where instead of taking vitamin D every day, they found it was almost more effective to take something like 20,000 units once a week.
Really?
Which was very weird. So there's like conflicting research on that, but it was super interesting to see that. It was like your body could absorb like one big bolus and would get more from it than doing little amounts every day. Now, whether that's because like some of it gets, who knows, lost in the digestion process or whatever, vitamin D is a fat soluble vitamin. So the best vitamin D is liquid, suspended in an oil, usually MCT oil.
Okay.
And you take it sublingually. You let it sit under your tongue and your gums. Your gums are the fastest, basically, transport to your bloodstream. So if you take it orally like that, let it kind of sit in your gums, that's the fastest way to take it. Otherwise, if you're taking a pill version, it should be in a gel capsule suspended in an oil. These tablet vitamin D, you're basic, like, throw it in the fucking garbage. This Jameson bullshit from the grocery store, it's a tablet. Do not take that. It's terrible. And cheaper sources of vitamin D will use terrible oils too, like sunflower oil and shit like that, or safflower, which is like some of the cheapest oil. It's basically like putting fucking vegetable oil in your body. Like, you just wouldn't do it. take the olive oil, right? You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Italians know, right?
My wife's got something to say about that for sure.
Yeah, Italians will cook with olive oil and over vegetable oil or some shit, right? So same kind of thing goes when you're looking at something like vitamin D.
Okay. So the key is, obviously with it being in foods that mainly people are avoiding now, fatty fish, egg yolks, whole milk. If you are avoiding those foods, then you need to find a gel capsule suspended in some type of oil that's healthy. So do your research.
So either a gel capsule or it'll be like a dropper.
A dropper. Okay.
Yeah. They're my favorite because you just take a couple drops under the tongue, you're good to go.
Okay. And I did hear that sounded. I did hear on that the Joe Rogan podcast. He was talking to a doctor, and she was saying something about that vitamin D's. That one thing that kind of it sits there and builds up, and it hangs out. So if something's not going on, if something's not attacking your immune system, or something's not happening, it just kind of chills. There's no problem with having a little too much.
No,
but
you should.
If your immune system is being attacked by something like COVID-19 or whatever, that's when it kind of engages and goes into action. The K1, I think she was talking about the K1.
Yeah.
Vitamin.
If you don't, and that's the thing, if you're deficient, you're going to have such a worst case of this virus, is what they're showing now from the people who they've done research on, right? But it's crazy because I see a lot of people too, like vitamin D is just like one thing you can do. There's so many different things you can do. I have some smart people who come to my store, and I just kind of look at them and smile because they come in and they know shit and have done research that like 99.9% of the population would never know. They'll come in and be like, do you have quercetin and zinc and PQQ? And I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, you know about these things? Because there's certain vitamins and stuff like that that a lot of people don't really know about. Like a lot of naturopaths now, and I have a friend who's actually a naturopathic doctor, a friend of my wife's actually, and we were talking about all the different things everyone should be doing. And because this virus attacks your respiratory system, one of the biggest things you could take is N-acetylcysteine. And what it is it's a precursor to our body's major antioxidant network, which is glutathione. Our body produces glutathione, and that's our own antioxidant. It's the biggest antioxidant, the best antioxidant for your body. But you can't supplement with it because it doesn't actually get absorbed. If you take it orally, it gets basically wasted in the digestive tract. But what I've been really curious about, because there's some doctors I've seen in New York, I believe, giving patients intravenous high dose vitamin C, which has been used for centuries for different diseases, everything from cancer to whatever, which you never hear anyone talk about,
right?
How it works, but it does work for certain things. But what I was getting at with that is glutathione, which our body produces, this antioxidant, you can take injections of it. And I've been so curious as to why they haven't given patients with COVID-19 this to basically supercharge your immune system. It boggles my mind. And now I got to do research on it because I've really wondered why. Like, actually, funny enough, Joe Rogan's taken it multiple times. Like, he kind of praises it. A lot of fighters take it to boost recovery after these crazy fights they do, right? So he's taking it all the time. And it sucks that in Canada, not so much, that because in the US there's lots of them, but we don't have a lot of vitamin drip places. There is a few franchises that have popped up in Toronto where you could go get an intravenous vitamin cocktail, and it just like supercharges your body and gets rid of those deficiencies, right? Which is amazing. And funny thing we were talking about yesterday was you were like, where are these places? And I had said, they're probably non-essential businesses, right?
For sure. That's totally the irony of it.
They're probably shut down because Big Pharma doesn't make any money off them or something, right? So,
well, and that's the thing. Like, a lot of people don't know this, about me or whatever. I haven't talked a lot about. I am not a huge fan of vaccines. I mean, when it comes to smallpox or something like that. And you were telling me yesterday too, like SARS and the swine flu. Like, there's no vaccine.
So it's funny because that's what we keep hearing from these people, basically these government officials and who and whatever, is they're basically all saying, oh, Siri's listening to me now. They're basically all saying that until there's a vaccine, this isn't going to get better and blah, blah, blah. And I've been talking to some of my doctor friends, and they're like, there's never going to be a vaccine. There was never a vaccine for the SARS virus. There was never a vaccine for H1N1. There was never a vaccine for swine flu. And it's because these viruses mutate. It's like the flu. Every year, the flu shot is different. We're not getting the same flu shot per se. Like, the strains change. Yeah. And these viruses like Corona can mutate slightly. And we will never have a vaccine for it.
Yeah.
We never had one for SARS. SARS magically disappeared, which I bet to believe you in two years, people will never even talk about this. Yeah. And it'll be the biggest political, economical bullshit that ever happened to our economy.
Isn't that what they're doing? They're kind of just trying to save face for kind of overreacting at the beginning.
I think so. And that's the funny thing, is at the beginning, like, they really, really reacted. And then you look at some countries like Sweden and that, and they did nothing. They believe on a herd immunity kind of thing. And I'm kind of a big proponent of that, because in my opinion, if you told the immune compromised and elderly people to stay at home, stay safe, stay cleanly, and you put more emphasis on protecting those places, like put extra precautions in place in old folks' homes, have more nurses in old folks' homes, stuff like that. I don't think it would have been as bad and wouldn't have ruined the economy. Now over there, I know they have had a spike at some point in the cases, but if you put the numbers together in the cases versus the deaths, I bet you the percentage is not much more than anywhere else where we've shut everything down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And generally speaking, if you're a healthy individual, this should not affect you. I mean, it's funny because I bet you I had it at some point already.
Oh, yeah, I'm with you on that. I think at some point, our symptoms are all different, I think, personally. And I think I definitely at some point wasn't feeling well and, and contracted this alternate version of what I think of as a flu. And that was my reaction to it, definitely.
Yeah, you look at everyone's favorite puppet in office, Trudeau, and his wife had it, and she didn't even really know. She's like, I had a headache.
Yeah.
And she had coronavirus. And it's like, if there's that many people who are only having that, like, for a symptom, it goes to show you, if you're generally healthy, it basically shows you this has been blown out of proportion quite significantly. And the thing is, this is going to be like the common flu. It's going to come back and it's going to be around. So why we are shutting everything down, ruining people's lives, businesses forever. And something we talked about yesterday, actually, is you were saying about, like, what's one of the things you can do for your immune system? Mm-hmm. And the biggest thing is minimizing stress. Stress is probably the hardest thing on your immune system. And it's difficult to tell people, hey, like, be less stressed when you risk your business going under, you're not getting paid, you don't know how to pay your bills because nobody's getting paid, you're forced to stay at home and look at the TV all day, you can't go out, you can't see friends, can't see family. Well, we're all fucking stressed. But as difficult as it is to say, if you can manage that stress, you're going to do huge things for your immune system. Because what happens is, when you're stressed, cortisol rises. It's our stress hormone. And your body is now in a fight or flight mode. And it basically shuts down all other processes in the body to focus on that only. It's our emergency response. We're getting chased by a fucking lion. Do we run now, or what do we do, right? Yeah. So if we can help to manage that, we're going to do wonders for our bodies. Because, like, something a lot of people realize, I had a friend of mine actually message me. He's like, I need digestive enzymes and this and that. And I'm like, you're stressed out, aren't you? Because digestion goes to shit. And that's one of the first things you'll notice when you're super stressed, is you'll have like acid reflux, indigestion. You'll feel bloated and things like that because your body is not focusing on breaking down and digesting food. It's focused on this fight or flight mechanism.
Yeah.
So that's one of the biggest things. And to couple that, as we said, vitamin D plays a huge role in mood. So those two together, when you're stressed to the nines and you're vitamin D deficient, you are like the perfect candidate to be wiped out by this COVID-19.
So no stress, and you need vitamin D, and we're getting shamed by the government 3 weeks ago for walking outside.
Yeah, pretty much. and it's funny because I talked to a couple different customers of mine and friends who have businesses that are seasonal, and why in the first place did they shut down things like landscaping and lawn maintenance and even golf courses? Like, holy fuck, I don't think on a golf course, other than your foursome or whoever you're in a cart with, you come in contact with anyone.
Yeah.
Like, these things are done outside. And the only good thing that has come of this, because people have more time on their hands, is I have seen a ton of more people walking, which is phenomenal. Yeah. They're getting outside, they're exercising. And walking is like one of my favorite things, both for physical health and mental health. It's just one of those things, allows you to clear your mind. And you can enjoy everything, soak up some vitamin D. But
I definitely don't walk at night. I think that's cute. My wife bugs me all the time. She's like, let's go for a walk. And I'm the first one to be like, I had a long day. But you're right. Every time I've pushed past that and actually gone for the walk, I come back, I feel so much better.
Yeah. And I mean, like we were saying before, the problem is the government's telling us to sit inside on our asses and basically do nothing. Well, when we sit inside and we're bored, we fucking eat like shit. Not moving, we're burning less calories, we're basically getting fat. And two of the biggest things that are terrible for your general health is being overweight, which can contribute to, like you said, diabetes, hypertension. And if you have any of those things, this virus will beat the shit out of you. Yeah. So I think one of the only good things that has come of this is it's going to teach people to take better care of themselves. Mm-hmm. And that's a huge thing that hopefully continues. Will it? Probably not, because society, we're creatures of habit, and a lot of people will just go back to their normal everyday life. But for the small percentage who take something from this and are like, you know what, I should probably go to the gym, which who knows if gyms will ever be the same as they were before, because they're a germ infested, everyone's touching shit. So those might be a thing of the past. It might be smaller gyms, more personal one-on-one things you could keep clean. But in general, yeah, if people start to take better care of themselves and try to lose a bit of weight and get to a healthy body mass and eat better, I think going forward, that's one of the best things for society that we've learned from this.
Definitely. I'm with you on that 100%. So yeah, I really appreciate you coming down, Luke, because this for me is huge. It's a lot of good information. I think people need more of it. They need to do more research. If you want to hit up Luke, give us your contact info.
You could go to our website, ampnutrition.ca. Our retail store is actually located in Bolton. We are having plans for more stores on the way. And you can hit me up on Instagram. I'll gladly answer any of your DMs or any messages you have at amped_nutrition.
Beauty. And of course, I'll tag Luke when we make this post. Really, really appreciate it, Luke. And I'm definitely, you know what? I think we need to open up a vitamin drip in Bolton.
You know what? I'm down.
Let's do it. We'll chat soon, brother. I appreciate it as always. Maybe we'll have you back on soon. But yeah, man, have a wonderful day. Enjoy all that beautiful vitamin D sitting out there.
There you go. We got
have a fantastic weekend.
Thanks, brother. You too.
All right. Ciao.
Coming in.